In this video, I'm going to share my experience helping my clients who suffer from imposter syndrome to get better at SEs and by that, getting over imposter syndrome. What's up, SE Nation? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ramzi Marjaba. I'm a solution specialist and SE coach, and I've been helping SEs improve their soft skills since 2020. The topic of imposter syndrome tends to come up quite a bit. The way I see it, imposter syndrome is not necessarily a bad thing. It could be a bad thing if it's debilitating, but it could also be used to your advantage. Now, before we jump into the video and sharing my tips on how to get over it, whether you're an SE manager trying to help your SEs get over it, or whether you are suffering from imposter syndrome as an SE, the basic definition that I go by is feeling that you're not worthy or you don't belong somewhere, feeling that your skills don't match what is required for you to do the job. And as SEs, I find that to be the case more than any other profession. Well, maybe not any other profession, but a lot of professions, because we're always in front of customers and we're always touted by our sales counterparts as the experts. We're here to answer the questions. We're here to solve the problems. And as a brand new SE, when I was introduced as that guy, before I actually knew the products very well and knew the technology and knew the problems, it put me in a weird space where I felt like I should be that person, but I am not. And that led to the imposter syndrome that I had, which again was a good thing because it led to me starting the podcast, We the Sales Engineers, and starting this YouTube channel, and in the end, helping a lot of SEs. So how do you get over imposter syndrome? One, do you want to? Well, yes, imposter syndrome is good to drive you forward, but at some point you're going to have to get over it. You don't want to be overconfident. There should always be the humility that you still don't know things. But the difference is without imposter syndrome, you know that's okay. And you still have the drive to learn. So how do we get over it? Whether you're an SE manager or an SE, first of all, you start small. We go into meetings, we do a discovery call with our customers, and then we walk out or we debrief with our account manager after the call and say, like, hey, do you have any feedback for me? Or with an SE manager. And there's a whole list of feedback that you can do. I've seen that from a bunch of my customers where they tell me, oh, my account manager said this, my SE manager said all these different things, especially when they're shadowing or they're being shadowed to give feedback. Like there's a list of 10,000 things that they need to work on and they wouldn't know where to go. So if you're an SE manager and you're talking to your SE and they tell you, hey, can you give me some feedback? Start small. Give them one piece of feedback, the most actionable thing that they can do that has the biggest bang for the buck. For example, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I received early on in my career was, Ramzi, you're not doing discovery. I didn't even know what discovery was. So I had to go learn about discovery. But then they didn't tell me, you're not doing discovery properly, your demo sucked, your presentation sucked. It was just, you don't know how to do discovery. You don't even know what discovery is. Good. Now I have something to focus on. I have something to focus my energy, my time, because as SEs, you may know, we're all over the place. We're being requested by our account managers, PMs reaching out, PMs product management is reaching out, asking us a bunch of questions. Our customers keep emailing us, which is a good thing, and asking us a bunch of questions. So having focus is good. Also with exercises, whenever someone joins a company, some companies have this onboarding process where they go learn for like 2 weeks and congratulations, you have to do a demo to the CIO or CEO, especially with small companies. You have to demo to the VP of sales, to your manager. You have to demo everything you learn, or you have to demo the product to that person. But a demo is not a small thing. It takes practice. It takes time. It takes knowledge. And it takes some level of comfort with the product. I've had people come to me and they say, hey, Ramzi, I want to improve my demo. And then we never end up working on the demo because we always figure out that if you do a discovery properly, the demo kind of builds itself. So how do we do a discovery? telling them, let's do a role play, let's do a discovery role play is not beneficial either, because what are they going to come in and ask? So the exercise we do when we start small is like, hey, tell me what the value of the product is and what questions you can ask around that. It could be as simple as that. And then the next exercise for next week, say, what do our competitors do? How do they differentiate themselves? So we don't give everything in our program. We don't say like, all right, do all this. No, it's in chunks. It's small exercises. Start small. What is the value of your product? Write it down. What is the value of the solutions? Write it down. All right, now that we know what the value is, how can you ask questions related to those? So that might be technical, that might be business oriented. And then with ops, and most companies do that fairly well, but I've been in situations where it wasn't. When you start with an op, don't give your brand new SE the biggest op that if they fail, everyone's going to know about it. Start small.
Start small, man.
Even if it's not qualified, get them to see what a not qualified deal looks like. If it is qualified and it's a few $1,000s, get them to work on it. Get them to treat it as an enterprise deal, especially if you're looking for enterprise SEs. If you're more small to medium business, then I guess every deal is a big deal, or they have more reps actually to work on it. But basically, start small with feedback, start small with exercise, and start small with opportunity. By the way, if you're looking for help and you want to improve as an SE, check out the SE hotline. I'll leave a link below. That's where we coach people and we have office hours, we have training sessions. Check it out and join it if you feel like you need the help. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy the video. The next tip is about focusing technology. I want to differentiate between a couple different SEs or SE types. There's the generalist, there's specialist. There's a bunch of other types of SEs, but these are the two that I wanted to focus on. The difference is between the generalist, which is also known as core SE, like VMware or formerly VMware, account SEs as well. Those SEs cover a wide spec of products with a small set of customers, whereas the specialists cover a small set of products or technologies with a wide customer base. And when you're a generalist SE, you have to cover technologies that might not be related. For example, I'm in test and measurement. I cover IP, MPLS routing and switching and whatever derivation of that. I cover application testing. I cover security testing, Wi-Fi, LTE. There's a bunch more, but I am not going to be an expert in all of those. I'm an expert in IP, MPLS. I'm not an expert in the rest. The rest, we have specialists that can come and help with an opportunity. So sometimes as an SE, when I first started a job, I would look at it and it's like, I don't know what to study. There's so many different things. And then you go to onboarding and they teach you a little bit about every single product. By the end of it, you learn nothing. So focusing technology means figure out what is the 80% of revenue coming from. Like if you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, Pareto's law, 20% of your products lead to 80% of your revenue. That's what you should be focusing on. And even within that, you can do the 80-20 rule as well and figure out what features or what is it about this product that sells the most. And now you can actually focus your studies on that. And then you can learn that small part and then you can practice it. You can practice the demo for that specific thing. You can practice the questions for that specific thing, but it has to be kind of focused. And when you do that, and if you're allowed to do that, as an SE manager, now you have to provide the support around them to support them with the rest. Because if they're doing that 20 and they're focused on that, there's 80% that might have one-off deals. For example, my customers buy mostly the things that I am an expert in. Every once in a while, I get someone asking me for security testing. I'm not an expert there. I can talk a little bit about it, but if I want to actually be useful to the customer and be a trusted advisor, I have to have the support to bring in the right person. And that also helps with imposter syndrome. So the backup, so that we can talk about the technology that we don't know, is very useful. And then the last tip I have about overcoming the imposter syndrome is expect mistakes.
I've made mistake after mistake after mistake.
My mistakes led to me learning. The fact that I didn't do a discovery with a customer led to my VP of sales telling me, Ramsey, you didn't do any discovery, which led me down the rabbit hole of learning what discovery is. Me telling the customer, oh, I know you're looking at product A. We're working on product B that also has the whatever product A has, but it'll be coming out in 6 months to a year. That mistake also led to some feedbacks. Like, Randy, you don't share all this information because you never know if it's going to come out in 6 months to a year. We could scrap the project altogether if it's not very successful. So you just made the customer wait for 6 months to a year and you didn't provide them, and you didn't solve the pain. You actually caused more pain. If you're expecting perfection all the time, imposter syndrome is almost impossible to overcome. If you welcome mistakes, I mean, not stupid mistakes, not mistakes that are due to under preparation, but mistakes that happen because it's a new world that we're living in. If you're new to the SE world, or if you're new to a company, you might make mistakes in the sense that you don't know what the process is, and you say something that you thought was correct because your old company did it, and now the new company doesn't do it, or vice versa. So these are my 3 tips. If you want to learn more about what a great SE looks like, check out the video that I'm going to put somewhere around here, and also check out the podcast. I have a playlist also around here. See the information for the SE hotline below. I'll leave it in the comments as well. With that, get back to work.